If everything in your life were unlimited, you would never have to choose. Welcome to another video based on the book What People Get Wrong About Economics, a guide to the core concepts by Library of Ideas. Today I tell you about scarcity, not as a dramatic word, not as disaster, but as the quiet condition that makes choice unavoidable. Imagine a normal day. You have 24 hours. You have some money, some energy, some attention. You open your calendar and realize two important things are planned at the same time. You cannot be in both places. That small conflict is not bad luck. It is not poor organization. It is something deeper. Scarcity. Not because you are poor, not because someone is cheating you, but because everything meaningful in life comes with limits. Time runs out, energy fades, resources end. Scarcity is not a crisis. It is the background of every decision you make. And once you see it clearly, you begin to understand why economics is not about greed. It is about limits. Saturday morning in a supermarket in South London. The automatic doors slide open and shut with a soft hiss. Cold air mixes with the smell of fresh bread. David stands in front of a shelf full of olive oil. Green labels, gold labels, tall bottles, short ones. One is cheaper. One's on offer. One promises something organic and pure. His trolley's already half full. Pasta, tomatoes, chicken, coffee. He's not desperate. He's not counting pennies. And yet he pauses. His eyes drop to the small numbers on the price tags. He does the maths in his head without even noticing. If he takes the expensive one, something else might have to go back. If he picks the cheaper one, he feels like he's giving something up, even if he couldn't say what. Across the city, early light spreads between rows of terraced houses. Sophie leaves the hospital after a night shift. The sky is pale and quiet. 12 hours sit heavily on her shoulders. She promised herself she would go for a run this morning. She needs it. It clears her head. But she also needs sleep. Proper sleep. The kind that makes the world feel steady again. She stands at the bus stop, thinking about trainers and pajamas at the same time. If she runs, she'll be tired all day. If she sleeps, she breaks a promise to herself. Different places, different lives. Yet in both moments, there's the same quiet tension. More than one good option. And only one can be chosen. David reaches for one bottle, then stops. The explanation in his head is simple. It usually is. If he earned a bit more, if the mortgage was smaller, if the weekly shop didn't keep creeping up in price every month, he wouldn't be standing here comparing labels. He'd just pick the best one and move on. The problem, he tells himself, is money. A bit more of it would smooth out these little annoyances. On the bus, Sophie leans her head against the cool glass and thinks in a similar way. It's not about discipline. It's not really about choice. It's about time. If her rota were kinder, if shifts were shorter, if nights didn't blur into mornings, she'd both run and sleep. She wouldn't feel this pull in two directions. The problem, she thinks, is her schedule. In both cases, the obstacle seems to be outside them. Money, time, circumstances. If only there were more resources, the tension would disappear. The world would open up and let them have everything at once. It's a comforting story, clear, straightforward, almost obvious. And yet, if you look closely, something about it doesn't quite add up. Step back for a moment. Even if David's salary were doubled, he still wouldn't leave the supermarket with every bottle on the shelf. He wouldn't buy every type of pasta, every brand of coffee, every cut of meat. At some point, even with more money, he'd still stop and decide. The trolley has limits. His appetite has limits. The cupboards in his kitchen have limits. And even if Sophie had a full day off, no shift waiting, no alarm set, she still couldn't sleep and run at the same time. Hours move forward one by one. To rest properly is to give up moving. To run is to give up rest. More time doesn't change the fact that you can't use a single moment twice. So the difficulty isn't only that they have too little. It's that their resources, money, time, energy, attention, are always limited compared with all the ways they could be used. There's a word for this. Scarcity. Not poverty, not empty shelves, but the quiet structure of reality where our desires stretch further than what can be done all at once. Scarcity doesn't mean something's completely missing. It doesn't mean empty shelves or empty pockets. It just means there isn't enough of something to cover every possible use at the same time. In most places, air isn't scarce. No one stands in a supermarket choosing between two brands of oxygen. But time is scarce. Once an hour's gone, it's gone. Energy is scarce. After a long shift, your body hits a limit. Focus is scarce. You can't give your full attention to 5 things at once. And money, whether you've got a lot or a little, is always scarce compared to all the ways you could spend it. Even in wealthy societies where basic needs are mostly covered, scarcity doesn't just go away. It just changes shape. There might be more comfort, more options, more convenience. But there are still only 24 hours in a day. Only so much effort a person can give. Still more possibilities than any one life can hold. Wealth can ease some limits. It can widen the range of choice. But it never gets rid of limits completely. That's why choosing isn't something unusual. It's not a sign of failure. It's the normal condition of living in a world where you can't do everything at once. There's another voice you hear in debates and in the news. It says the world already produces enough for everyone. There's plenty. The real issue, it argues, is distribution. If goods were shared more fairly, the tension would go away. There's truth in that. Inequality can make scarcity harsh for some and almost invisible for others. How resources are shared out matters. It shapes comfort, opportunity, even dignity. But it doesn't get to the heart of it. Imagine everything divided perfectly. Food shared without waste. Homes given out without excess. Money spread evenly. Even then, there would still be only 24 hours in a day. Only so much space in a city centre. Only so much attention a teacher can give each pupil. Only so many skilled surgeons, musicians, engineers. Only so many things one person can do at the same time. Fairer distribution can change who feels the pressure most. It can't remove limits themselves. Scarcity isn't only a political problem waiting for better management. It's a feature of reality, woven into time, space, and what people can do. And any serious understanding of economic life has to start there. From a wider angle, something basic becomes clear. Scarcity isn't a side issue. It's the quiet condition that makes everything else possible. Without limits, there'd be no need to choose. And without choice, there'd be no meaning to price, no reason for competition, no point in ownership, and far fewer arguments about who gets what. Choice exists because not all options can be taken. Price exists because goods and services can't be given to everyone at once. Competition exists because different people want a share of the same limited opportunities. Ownership matters because something scarce can't be used by everyone at the same time. If nothing were limited, there'd be no need to compare, no need to prioritize, no need to decide. There'd be no tension between alternatives, and without that tension, what we call the economy would simply fall apart. Not because everyone would be rich, but because there'd be nothing to organize. Scarcity creates the pressure. Choice gives that pressure direction. And at this point, economics stops feeling distant. It becomes an unavoidable part of being human. David puts the cheaper bottle of olive oil in his trolley. He doesn't make a thing of it. He doesn't feel proud or defeated. He just moves on to the next aisle, already thinking about what to cook tonight. Sophie gets home, drops her bag by the door, and pulls the curtains halfway shut. She sets her alarm just in case and lies down. The trainers stay by the bed. The run can wait. For now, sleep wins. Their decisions are quiet, ordinary. There's no grand theory going through their heads, no political message. Just a simple response to one basic fact. You can't do everything at once. The supermarket is still bright and full. The city is still waking up. Nothing dramatic has changed. And yet something underneath these moments is now clearer. The tension was never just about money. It was never just about rotas. It was about limits. Here's the thought to carry forward. Economics doesn't begin with wealth. It begins with scarcity. And in the next episode, we take the next step. If scarcity forces us to choose, what exactly are we giving up every time we say yes to one thing and no to another? The supermarket lights are still on. The curtains in Sophie's room are still half closed. The world looks exactly the same as it did before. David will cook dinner. Sophie will wake up later and check the time. Life moves on without commentary. But something has shifted in the way we see it. Scarcity is not an emergency. It is not a scandal. It is the quiet structure that sits beneath every plan, every hope, every argument about money or fairness. It is the reason choices exist at all. Here is the line to remember. Limits are not the exception in life. They are the rule. And once you accept that, the next question becomes unavoidable. If you cannot take every option, if saying yes to one thing always means leaving something else behind, then what exactly are you paying each time you decide? In the next episode, we step into that hidden price. Choice and opportunity cost, the price of every decision. Most people don't get economics wrong because they're careless. They get it wrong because they only see fragments. A model here, a headline there, an opinion that sounds convincing, but has no roots. This series tries to correct those mistakes. But correction is only half of the work. If you want to understand where these ideas come from, how they were shaped, challenged, and transformed over time, you need the longer story. That's what the History of Economics in 25 Scenes is. Not a collection of theories, but a map of how people have tried to understand wealth, power, and markets across centuries. In the videos, we challenge what people get wrong. In the book, you see why those mistakes happen in the first place. If you want to go deeper, you'll find it on Amazon as an ebook or in print. Because without the full story, even the right answers can feel incomplete. You'll find the full book on Amazon. Link in the description.